Alright, so, yo, what's good? Foxcroak SR. I'm gonna be doing BFB percent as the final run license-a-thon. So, the time's gonna start whenever I click no here. I'm gonna start my timer. 3, 2, 1, start. Games would be played on original Xbox on the hard disk drive. The fastest way to play it. I'm gonna expect to get around like a 54-minute time, but you never know. This game's very back and forth with how it wants to be whenever I play it, so. But as you saw right here, first big trick, we went into the pineapple and got a bunch of shinies. Oh, very big, very exciting start, but it gets better. So we're going to do something called the hand disable. If you've seen a run of this game, then you've probably seen this. There's a simpler version than what I'm doing, but this is what we call like the new disable, I guess. Basically, I'm going to jump over here, I'm going to slam, and that activated the taxi. And if I go out of bounds, I can just get grabbed by the hand right here, nice and easy. Cutscene's going to start. I'm going to want to get as many shinies as possible here. Having 49 is good, because there's something called a dupe that we're going to do. You can basically scam crabs into paying less for a spatula and give you an extra one. We're going to get this sock. Then usually you can't get this spat here, but disabled the hand, so go. Now we're going to do something called hammer skip. There's a lot of tricks in early game, by the way. Not as many in late game, as late game is like cruise boosting and movement. But early game, there's a bunch of like exploits and tricks that we do. It's going to start off with hammer skip now, and basically we're going to abuse some checkpoints here. And I'm going to take damage while standing on this hammerbot's head. And we're going to like go into a checkpoint, respawn, and spawn on top of the hill. Bot comes down. Damage, nice and easy. Got up here. Now we can go and collect this spatula. And we're going to do another damage abuse thing to a trigger called Pat's Hammer. It uses a hammer bot, as you can imagine, but this one's a little tougher to do than hammer skip, but it is doable, it is manageable. Collect some shinies, of course. We want to try and get as many as possible again. Get this sock. We're going to get 20 socks throughout the run, 77 spatulas. We get to skip a cutscene here by just falling into it. Now I'm just going to walk forward and I'm going to adjust my camera to Patrick in the distance here. And then I guess that the hammer bot decided to swing early here, so I'm going to die and retry. Kind of have a weird thing to happen. I mean, it means that my camera angle was like not adjusted enough to the left, I think. Get it the second time around, and we're gonna head to downtown now. So we're gonna avoid Mr. Krabs. That's like a very important part here, because if you don't avoid him, then he talks to you, and then we can't do the dupe, which the dupe is basically a free spatula. We're gonna get on top of Spongebob pineapple and get that underwear first. The next minute or so is going to be pretty much downtime, so I can explain the next big trick, which is called VMS. We're basically going to use the sponge ball to store a bunch of vertical momentum, and we're going to be able to fly into the air over loads. But first we have to do Tiki's Go Boom. Everyone's favorite. We do this kind of sort of in like a casual way, surprisingly. We used to cruise boost for this a long time ago, but just gonna get these stacks. You have to go to certain spots, and the cannon basically just fires tikis at all the stacks. This is our main way to get shinies in early game, so Hopefully that hits. High. Fire again. Stack. We can hit these buttons. So to get more shinies, I'm going to reload. Because we need 3,000 shinies by the time that we get to about 15, like 11 spatulas, I think. It's really soon, at like 8 minutes into the run, that we need to have 3,000. We're at a good point here. When I do VMS, I want to be at 1900 roughly. That's like a good place, which we're way on pace to be on. So I go out of bounds here. Since the hand is disabled, we can do this. Get this stack, and then we're gonna do sponge ball storage, where you can jump again while in the sponge ball on the ground if you're in the double jump animation. We abuse that to get the sponge ball all the way to this stack, and then now we're gonna do VMS. I was a little late on my input there, so I have to go and try again. The backup's kind of bad on how I do this, which, well, so I just get to show off this other cool trick here called bank jump. We're gonna go back and do the sponge ball storage again, this time being aware that there's a cannon shooting sinks at us that can make us take damage and ruin the whole trick. That one also was bad. Well, there's a bunch of frame perfect inputs, by the way. So basically we press the get out of the sponge ball and start at the same time, like same frame basically. And then we store it over the load, and at the end of the load, I think it's like a 9 frame window. You press A and you can jump in the air and you get a bunch of height. Hopefully I can get it this time. Big loss. I don't know what's going on here, but the big loss, as you can imagine. I mean, I could technically have gone and talked to Gary the second time if I knew I was going to miss it. But we do. Bank jump's fun to show off too. I'm very slightly missing the window. Like that time I was a little late on my input. Finally got it, which, right, so you can see we fly into the air. Coming down, and we have to get on top of Shady Shoals and collect the spatula. So now, very important, we're going to get this stack. We're going to collect the sock on the sink and then enter Tree Dome. Still had a good amount of shinies. For the dupe to work, you can only be at like 3,000 to 3,500. Anything more and the dupe's not going to work. Anything less, well, you can't afford a crab spatula. Essentially, we're buying from crabs in a different area that he's not loaded into. You have to get through Tree Dome first. I got some pretty good RNG there, so get the spat. We're going to go and do something called Rollbuck. Basically, we're going to use the sponge ball storage to get up to a ledge. We're going to get on top of the chum bucket using the sponge ball. We're going to use some like momentum physics. Very good. Yeah, on top of the chum bucket, and now we're going to go into the chum bucket, and we're going to get the wall jump spat. Top of the chum bucket, make sure to destroy the stack as we go on top. We can just bash on the very tip of this little air pipe here and then get a spatula. Then we're going to go into the Krusty Krab. This fight's not that bad. There's like some RNG with like the second chuck missile, but besides that, it's pretty scripted. Do. For some bots. You can see there's boost bots. We don't want to die from these, of course. Okay. Now this is where the dupe happens. So I'm gonna miss the whole dupe here, but basically we're gonna talk to him, and we're just gonna press A through all this and give us a spat, and then we're immediately gonna warp to the first spat here, and we're gonna talk to him again. Now we're doing Squid's house. So we have to jump 10 times, and we have to destroy everything in Squidward's house. We get a free sock, spatula. Very good. Now we're gonna go talk to Bubble Buddy. We're gonna do something called oil skip. Yeah, Mr. Krabs' voice actor, actually not the real Mr. Krabs, the imposter. I forget what the guy's name is, but they got discount Mr. Krabs. Kinda sad. It is what it is. I'm gonna do oil skip now, which basically it's kind of similar to Pat's hammer with like how we take damage. There's a lot of that in early and mid game. Take damage to get to a area that's further in the level. Go, second try. Pretty good. We're gonna go talk to Patrick, get a spatula, then we're actually gonna warp down to Patrick again. Kind of crazy that we talked to all these people like twice in a row. Going into Poseidon, and we're out of early game. We're gonna go into the first major boss in this game, Robo Sandy. This part is kind of a little downtime, so quick second chance to get a little refreshment or drink or something. About 3 minutes long. I'm basically going to be standing in very specific points. Actually, not very specific, but standing in points to make her attack early, make her go on certain parts in phases 2 and 3. Getting this phase done as fast as possible. First phase, she only slams once, and then she does her like attack that leaves her vulnerable. Second time, she's gonna go off clothesline, and then she's gonna go into the middle, and we have to carry her helmet to the broken scoreboard. Then the third time, she's gonna do some stuff, and we're gonna bash her helmet every time. Basically, just repeat this.
Its head.
I was way too far.
What a shocking takedown by Patrick.
I do some really weird manips. Basically, everyone stands in a different corner and goes to has different visual cues than I do, but I stand in that corner closest to the scoreboard. Jump out to the underwear and to the pole next to it whenever she attacks. Yeah, I stand on that E over there until she does like the final attack, and then I slam the middle.
Head thing move by Patrick.
That was a lot, but basically you get to see it every single time whenever Sandy attacks. See that she's gonna do the clothesline move, which in phase 3 she does the same thing with that move, except her arms and her legs are out. Phase 1, this is just her legs are out.
Wow, I've never seen such an electrifying match.
Same manips.
The old clothesline move.
This time she's gonna come to the middle We're just gonna slam in a specific spot right here. Slam the helmet or bash the helmet as early as possible.
Oh, what an uppercut!
So we're almost done with Robo Sandy now. The next big part is Goo Lagoon. We get to scam the game out of money.
Nice move by
We like to call it like,
This match is
I forgot what we call it, funny money? Funny money. Because you get a bunch of shiny objects, basically doing nothing. Something called a skee ball machine. We abuse the fact that it has triggers. Since we had the hand disabled, we can carry some tikis over to it. We get about 40,000 shiny objects. Now we're gonna do a little bit of a cutscene skip. Pull into it. We actually do another cutscene skip here. Usually there's a cutscene for the monsoon bot, which is the one that has like the umbrella, if you've ever seen this. If we don't go out of bounds, then it has a cutscene that plays. We lose like half a second or so. First I was really struggling with that trick, but then as I got more advanced, we're getting it. And I got something called Fat Guy Skip there. So it's a one frame. You take damage from that G-Love, and then you can basically get a one frame jump, and you can skip having to jump on the fat guy. Very excited I got that, because that's like the best trick in. Now we're just gonna skip over to the little pier area over here. We're basically doing Goo Lagoon backwards. Talk to Patrick, or talk to the bus stop to get Patrick. Gonna destroy some robots here. This is like part 1 of Pier for the robots, and then we're gonna get funny money. And then talk to crabs, and we get a bunch of spats in this area. Over the next like 3 minutes, we're gonna get 15 spats. So I hope we're gonna get them. So we're gonna do something called SBA, the funny money trick I've been talking about. Requires 2 tikis. You can do this with 1 tiki technically, but it's very unsafe to go for. I'm actually someone who really liked doing 1 tiki. Ruin runs. Basically, we're gonna juggle some tiki. We're gonna get him over to the skee-ball machine over here. We're gonna get them stuck in the machine on the 30. A hole that gives us 30 shinies. Then we're gonna bowl into the tikis and the ball gets stuck, and so you're gonna hear some really annoying noises. Would recommend turning your volume down if you're kind of sensitive to loud noise. Second. Once you see me throw the second tiki, not the one I'm on right now, but the second one, then you should probably turn your volume down just a little bit. I'll be good. Not ideal or anything, but good enough. Well, I'm not going to try and talk anymore until this party's over. I'm just gonna pay the clam. But you can not pay the clam. That's like a completely normal thing, but I messed up the movement, so I just decided to pay the clam. The shiny rate's been kind of bad, so I'm just gonna wait for a second, go to the skee ball machine. I want this thing to just keep giving us shinies. Should be good right now. I'm gonna jump out of the machine, hopefully. I don't know why I'm not jumping out of the machine, but we're gonna be a little bit over on shinies. Grab the spatula. My favorite SpongeBob episode, as I can see that Kane, California is asking about. I believe it's a hard one to think about. There's so many good episodes. I mainly remember like funny scenes from the show. So I like my favorite one is like that "It's Not My Wallet" scene with Man Ray and Patrick.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
That one's a really good one. So we're done with like funny money. Now we're gonna go into moat early. There's tons of different setups, but this setup is like really fluid and really fast. I'm gonna collect the spatula here, take damage from the hammer bot, and then I'm gonna line up with the specific thing on the wall in the background. Not your wall, it's my wall. Oh no. It's been such a long time since I've watched these. But yeah, that was mow early. You just have to line up with the very specific spot and bowl a button that's visible. Usually you have to pay shinies for that, but we didn't pay any today. Talk to Larry and he's gonna give us a free spat. And then we're gonna go and get more spat. Get 8 free spats from Mr. Krabs now. So you're only supposed to be able to get 8 spats from Mr. Krabs, but we're gonna get 9 because of that dupe we did earlier. You can talk to Mr. Krabs in a hub world you have not visited yet. So we got to talk to him by defeating the Krusty Krab. He gives us like 3 spatulas. We talk to him again in hub 1. Come back to this area. And still acts like he hasn't given us a spatula. I think you can get up to like 25 dupe spatulas if I remember. I'm not 100%. It's something like 25. Accidentally denied the last spatula. Here we go, 31. Now I'm gonna use the sponge ball. I got the cool skip in rock bottom, so that cutscene skip is actually very precise, and I got it. You bowl into it and you kind of just hope that you can get that. Saves like 5 seconds if you get it. Bathroom boost. Get another damage abuse. We can skip to the end of the level. I didn't get the hot sauce jump there, so we just have to walk over here. We're gonna enter this area, and we're gonna overlap the spat animation with the load, and we're back where we just were, and we're gonna go down to get the slip slide and spat. The spat animations in this game are really weird, by the way. You can like overlap them if you have stuff that happens before them. I I didn't do it earlier, but you can do it whenever you get the dupe. There's one we do in like Murmulair. It's a very interesting concept of just like overlapping spats or not having animations play like I just had there or what have you. Took damage off some Tikis and that gave me a little bit of a boost. Got to spat a little earlier. On to Sleepy Skip. But this is another damage abuse. I know there's a lot of damage abuse early and mid game. Oh, I almost got scammed there and it almost like made me drop down, but Sleepy Skip. Big damage boost and then go and grab a sock. We're on the dream. So now we're gonna do Super Bounce Skip and we're gonna do Sandy's Dream. So basically, we're abusing slide physics and how it gives us speed. And we're gonna get over to the blocks there in the distance. We're able to jump on top, completely skip having to pay a clamp. Because usually you're supposed to slide down to Sandy's Dream, do Sandy's Dream, pay 1,000, then go to Squid's Dream. We completely avoid that. Enter Squid's Dream for later on. And we're coming into Sandy's Dream.
What?
There's a checkpoint that we can activate here. Kind of invisible. It's kind of a tight version of it. But there's a purple spot on the side of the acorn, and we just keep jumping into it. I like to jump something like 10 times to make sure I can get. And then we just take damage when we die. We can sky glide down. Alright, so here we go. Now we're gonna go into Sands Mountain. Yeah, I said Sands like... It used to be Sands Mountain because that was like where runs went to die. Sands Mountain now isn't like that bad in this run. Other runners make it a little tougher than I do. Basically, we just have to like go and get this spat that from the bungee, and then we go and do Guppy Mound, and then we're out of here. Usually you have to pay a clam to get that spat with the bungee, but because we have the hand disabled, we can just jump down and get the spat. We're gonna do Guppy Mound. This is like the casual way, so anytime that you've done like a casual run of this game, this is like how you do Guppy Mound. There's a mini skip that we do halfway through the slide, I'd like to say. Besides that, is just regularly see. Make sure to get all the socks. Tiny count doesn't matter, but here comes the mini skip. We're gonna jump into this rock. That's gonna take us over here to this rock. Then we have at least 10 socks. We get one of the Patrick trades for 10 socks now. And we get 8 socks in late game. And we're gonna do a second Patrick trade at the very end of the run. For this part, we're gonna destroy the first Duplicatotron. Hopefully that bot gets out of the way because we can bowl a bowl again. And that destroys the second one. So we can just walk over, push the button. We're done with the bomb of Guppy Mound. Usually there's like a robot fight where you have to like kill all the robots, but we kinda halfway did that. But it's 2 free spats. Hit this one. Box. There's the second spat. And we're gonna do a Patrick trade. All the way down to Patrick. And then we're gonna warp to the second spat. And this takes us to Industrial Park. I don't know why I talked to Bubble Buddy, but get the sponge ball into Industrial Park. The second major boss in the game. Some more time to get some drinks or something. We're a little over halfway done with the run. Just slightly over halfway.
Great Barrier Reef!
So this part's kind of like boring to watch, but it's kind of cool because the music is good. Very repetitive and slow paced. We just stand in this corner, wait for him to stop spinning and bowl him. Then we do Sandy, and we just like keep latching onto some swingers, and we have to let boxes drop so we can go and kick him in the back. And then Spongebob in phase 3, we're just gonna bowl from some conveyors.
The robot better change tactics and fast.
I guess it's also like a good time to explain some of the stuff. Late game is quite packed with a bunch of tricks and technology and stuff that we use. The main thing that drives it all is cruise boosting. It's like the one thing that this game is known for. If you've ever heard of the speedrun of this, but press the bowl, you press the cruise bubble, do it on the same frame, get speed. And we're gonna abuse that speed to fly around the map. We're just gonna break the game in ways you didn't think were possible. We're gonna do what I just did there 2 more times. But yeah, so probably the most broken thing in the game is the cruise bubble because of the possibilities it opens for us. Technically, it's like the bubble bowl and the cruise bowl mixed together, but the cruise bubble is like the last thing. But as you saw, like there was quite a bit we did with the bubble bowl inside of the mid game there. This level, I mean, it's pretty standard. We're gonna attack him again here in just a second. During this cutscene, we're gonna wait until he falls back into the goo. Then we're gonna skip it, because that skips having to get damaged by goo. Saves like a half a second or 2 seconds. I'm gonna stand, there's like a little crease in the middle of each of these conveyors. I stand in the little crease there until he starts spinning, and that should manipulate him to go where I want him to go. There's like a little crease in the middle, I'm just running to it. Spinning so I can walk away. He's gonna stop on the opposite side. Whether that's in the front or like on the side, I don't know. He's gonna stop somewhere over there.
The robot better change tactics and fast.
Taking damage, that loses even more. Here we go. He's gonna stop right here in the middle. Boom. Done with IP. Now we're going to Murmulair. You might have noticed we haven't gone to Murmulair yet. The only stage we didn't go to that we've unlocked. That's because we do it all in late game. Use the power of cruise boosting. Cruise boost. So, Basically, instead of walking, we're now like running through this area. We get to the spot up here and we go into the second area. We can just slide into the gate. So there's something called clam skip. You do something called lag bash. Cruise Boost doesn't like me. We want to do a lag bash where we're going to tilt the camera as we bash. It's going to give us slightly more height to allow us to clear this little gap. And then we're going to do right side where we can just like bash multiple times to get to a checkpoint. There's a lot of stuff you have to do there if you don't do what I just did. Prawn skip now. There's a trigger right above where we spawn that skips having to do the boss fight that's in this room. Because usually you have to do this boss fight where you have to like fight Prawn. But by going into the middle here, skip the boss fight and we get a free spatula. We're gonna cruise bubble a button. And we're not going to get a cruise boost in this area. We're going to walk to security room. And we're going to climb the security tunnel with the cruise boost. So for whatever reason, Gary's here. Right? And then Gary, I'm excited to see you. Now we can just like bash. That's... There's like a flower on the wall. And if I get that flower, then I can just immediately bash. We can just climb the security tunnel. Fortunately, the ARF bot's in our way of these buttons. Pull them to get out of the way. And now we're going to do ballroom clip. I have to get a cruise, or you don't have to get a cruise boost. I like getting one. We do a cruise boost with some extra steps. And we can get inside the little room here, or this little cage. It's a frame perfect trick. You have to do like 3 frame perfect inputs at the same. Then we can warp back here, and we're gonna overlap some spatula. Hopefully this camera angle works. Good, so. Oh, Murmler. Going back to Sands Mountain. This time is a little bit of a tougher trick. Called Larry Slide Skip. Get a cruise boost, and we're gonna get the spat on top of the lodge. We're gonna go into Larry Slide. So very similar to a ballroom clip, we have to do some like cruise boosting inputs where we have to press the bubble bowl and cruise bubble on the same frame. We also have to move into something, press it on like a specific movement frame. I think it's like a 2. I'm gonna line myself up with some stuff on this wall. So I got the trick. We basically just like go all the way down to the finish line. We skip the slide. That's very cool. Beat the slide. Nip the chuck. Very important that we don't fall off here. If we fall off here, then like we have to get a different spat. I was messing around with some angles there. The angles didn't really like me. You can see we kind of did like another lag bash and then that. Going to talk to Larry. Now we're gonna go Goo Lagoon, and we're gonna save the children. So you basically have to like get a cruise boost first or second try or else reload. And you have to get all the children bubbles. And we get a free spat for destroying all the bubbles. Or balloons, I guess I should call it. Fast enough. Or? This is like the cleanest Save the Children segment I've ever had in a run. No joke. Literally the cleanest one I've ever had in a run. Now we're gonna go back to downtown, which fortunately let us down with VMS. We have cruise boosting now, so we're gonna get some wheels. We're gonna set up the next major thing, collectible counter abuse. We can trick the game to thinking that we've collected 6 art and 6 campers, and we get free spats for it. All we have to do is collect some wheels. We're gonna collect 6 of them. See, we're already at 4. And basically we just have to like cruise bubble on the first frame that we load into the... Similar to VMS.
What's...
We can actually go out of bounds here. We're going to use that to our advantage. I forgot for a second that I had to get another spat here. Get the spat. And we're actually going to adventure out of bounds for a second. Come back in bounds at last second. And we're going to collect a bunch of spats. Or not a bunch of spats, but a bunch of collectibles. So we're going to get this wheel. Get another wheel down here. Stock here. And we have to bash slam. This part's kind of complicated, but I pulled it off very well. We get a free spat, then we go to rock bottom. We get a spatula because we got 6 wheels. This game has some weird memory codes. So if you press the cruise bubble on the first time you load into a level, then you can trick the game into thinking you have a certain amount of collectible. We tricked it into thinking we had 6. Because we had 6 wheels. So that makes the NPCs give us free the wheel. Spatula, and we're gonna go to museum now. We're gonna use this tiki stack and we're gonna hopefully make it over there. This, yep. And then we're going to collect the spatula and enter museum. So there's something called Spongebob Museum I'm about to do. There's also Sandy Museum, but Spongebob Museum is much better. Here. We didn't make it in time, so we're just going to wait on this tire cycle for just 1 second. Flip through. Basically, whenever you're in ledge grab animation, the game doesn't try and displace you. It just lets you like go through whatever you're going. Then we can bash right as soon as we fall off of this, and we get to go and collect the spatula. Alright, now we're going on to Kelp Forest. And Kelp Forest, this is like, this and Graveyard are like the two levels that have not changed at all over the years. There's stuff that like even higher level runners than me do, but in terms of like the strats that I'm doing, nothing has changed. Except for CCA. We're gonna talk to Puff, back through the box, and not go to the restroom right there. There's a meme category where you go to the restroom. We're not doing that. We're gonna skip this slide as well. The power of cruise boosting, we were able to get to the bottom of the slide before we got to the top. So we can use the box from the bottom of the slide. We can actually just use the whole... Lock here. Okay, cruise boost. That we can get to the gate faster. Up here. Mermaid Man's gonna give us a spatula. No, he's not, because I forgot to go to the slide trigger. Now he's gonna give us a spatula. So, because we're doing it backwards, there's a spat at the end of caves that we can just grab.
Hey kid.
And talk to Barnacle Boy, he's like, hey kid. Then we exit. Go to swamps, CCA, forest. Kelp Forest. This is most people's least favorite level in the game. I would kind of have to agree. The worst part in this game is Kelp Caves. That's just because there's so much backtracking. You have to switch between Spongebob and Patrick like 10 times. Doing it optimal. Time to set up C. Little late on my inputs. Time around, got it. For CCA to work, by the way, you don't need to be in the level for that long. You only need to be in it for like a frame or two, because you just need to get the collectible counter data. That's what we're using to abuse, because after the first frame you're in the level, everything is reset. Well, in a few minutes, do laundry. Use the power cruise boosting. We can get the spat. There's many ways that we can get the spat. But cruise boosting is just like the easiest way whenever cruise boosting wants. We can just like bash up to the spat. Then we're gonna go into Squid's Dream. Alright, so in Squid's Dream, we just have to like get through the level as fast as we can. We're gonna get a sock. I thought I wasn't gonna reach that trampoline in time. Very. Because I got a cruise boost first try there. So the trampoline's barely on cycle. If we get like a second try or we wait a second, then we have a much better chance of reaching the trampoline. Squid's Dream is done already, so now we go in Dutchman's Graveyard. Oh, get a cruise boost because that's gonna help us to skip this cutscene. We're gonna do something called pole boost.
The graveyard.
We're just gonna get a cruise boost off this pole. And that's gonna allow us to go and get a sock. I barely had enough height for that. We're gonna get this button with the cruise bubble, select the spat, reload, and then we're gonna go and do a new trick called GCB. I believe the last time I was on this marathon that this trick was not a thing. I don't remember 100%, but there's a trick called GCB, and basically we just bash the goo cage. We get a spat from the goo cage without having to open it, without having to do anything. We just have to bowl into the cage, as I'm going to show you here in just a second. That's goo cage bash. Now I'm gonna rock climb to get all the way back up. We're gonna go into the bungee area. Guessed it, through hand disabling, not necessarily cruise boosting this time, but through hand disabling, we're gonna get the bungee spat. Talk to Squidward. We're gonna get this bungee spat, then we're gonna do something called boat bat. Not too much I need to explain on boat bash, just the movements are really cool. We basically just bash it a lot of times on the side of the boat. Very clean boat bash. One of the most overlooked tricks in this game. Now in this area we just have to activate some cannons and we get 2 spats. Oh wait, before the final boss, this is the final area, which I don't know what just happened there. I was trying to manip the chuck missile. Jumped off. Chuck's gonna throw a missile. This is the last area we go to before the final boss. To jump onto some platforms here. Get up to this, or the buttons that we have to push. I'm gonna keep the cruise boost. We're gonna get this spat, then we're gonna go on top of the trampoline. Actually gonna let go. Up here, get the spatula. Then we can go and get a Patrick tray. That's gonna take us to 75 spatulas. Right where we want to be. Now we're going into the final boss. Final boss is a bunch of gimmicks. Usually you're supposed to do a robot fight and then like a big group of robots. But we're gonna skip everything. If he's gonna attack, we attack again, and we're invincible, by the way. Like, it's impossible for him to hit us if we cruise bubble as fast as we can.
The robot better change tactics and fast.
Abuse some physics there.
Will Spongebob be able to neutralize the giant robot's brain?
This is Fast Brain. Final part of the run. So instead of having to fight a bunch of robots and use duplicatotrons and stuff, we just clip into the brain. After I hit this third fuse, that's when we call time. Fuse 1. Here's fuse 2. Once we clip in, that's like, yeah, at this third phase. 3, 2, 1, time. Yeah, that's the run. Pretty good run. Hopefully this was a good way to end License-a-thon 2023. Hope you guys enjoyed all the other runs. I know I did. 54:56. The stream's kind of delayed. That's why. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Hope that the nice and good run ended, like I said.
What'd he do? What? Oh,
I'm Toxtro Gaming. Again, good day, good night, whatever.
That does it. I'm becoming a lawyer.
Have a good time with the end of the.
I still have lots of robots all over Bikini. I'll summon them all, and then we'll see. Uh-oh. I'll destroy you. You'll destroy me. I'll destroy you. I'll destroy you twice as hard. Oh yeah? I'll destroy you +1. Well, I'll destroy you plus infinity.